Hello and welcome to Delmar TV. This is Farhan Chaite. As you have heard lately, there's a new wave of a new disease, Delta virus. And to explain what that is, today is with us Dr. Mark White. Dr. Mark White, welcome to Delmar TV.
Good evening, and it's a pleasure to be back.
Thank you. Dr. Mark White, as you've seen um, recently for the past few weeks, Delta virus has taken over and replaced is more dangerous than COVID-19. What is the Delta virus and why is it different than COVID-19?
Good question. I think the first thing that we need to kind of embrace is the fact that what viruses do is they replicate, they mutate, and they change, and that's how they survive. And and so the one of the places that they replicate and mutate is in the human body. And so this is nothing new for viruses. This is how they survive. They're smart. I know when I was in medical school, I it was amazing how viruses were able to evade and circumvent enzymes and just change in the body. And so we went through this pandemic, the worst pandemic ever in the history of civilization. It seems with the SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus, and so we went through that, and now the virus, just like any other virus, COVID-19, the original COVID-19, as we refer to it now as the alpha variant, because there's been several different variants, as we know, um, and unfortunately, there probably will be more variants to come, and that's a concern for the world. And so, one of the things that with this, we've had different. Britain had a variant, that B.1.1.7, and then we heard the variants in Africa, and then all of a sudden, we had the Delta variant. We heard about um, all of the people that were dying and were really sick in India. And you remember the news and the pictures, and it was terrible. And so it was only a matter of time that the virus made its way across the world. It was in December of 2020 that we saw the effects of Delta, initial effects of Delta in India, and I'm going to say by December, by May, around the middle of May, this Delta variant made up about 3% of the new cases in the United States. And by June, this virus, this variant, this Delta variant had spread to 80 countries, and it makes up now 83% of the new cases in the United States. It's the dominant variant. There's the it's and we refer to it as the uh, Delta variant. The COVID-19 we knew initially, we referred to that as the Alpha variant. But with this new Delta variant, it has taken the world over. I mean, 80 different countries, 83% of the new cases in the United States. Some might ask, how has this happened? Okay, so we know that viruses replicate. We know that there's changes in the virus, and I'm sure people that have followed this have heard about the spike protein. And with the Delta variant, there's two replications, or there's two mutations with the replication process. There were two areas of the virus that were of concern. The one was in the um, uh, uh, replication binding domain. There was a change in the replication binding domain, and forget about real complicated replicating, binding. The problem with that was this virus now is able to stick to the cells in our body stronger. It's able to clamp down on the cells, those ACE2. Don't, don't get stuck on the ACE2. It's just a cell in our body that the virus sticks to. And because of the change in the virus in this domain, it's able to stick to the ACE2 receptor stronger and harder. And so when it comes in, it's bam on the cell. And then there was another mutation in a different site of the virus, and it, this the site of this the site of this change makes the virus replicate um, significantly more, 10 times more than Alpha 1, the original virus. So now what you have is a virus that comes in harder, sticks to the cells harder, and replicates much, much, much more than the original virus did. So the viral load, if you will, the viral load that a person that gets infected with the Delta virus is significantly more. So patients that are infected with the Delta variant, they have a much the viral load of the virus inside their body is significantly more. And so you can see why this virus, they're calling this the virus of this variant of concern. And so there was a study that was done in the Lancet, and it looked at about 19,000 people, and it showed that the hospitalization rate for this Delta variant was doubled. It doubled that of the Alpha variant, the original virus. So this variant, this Delta variant, is very contagious, more virus. The viral load is more, so if somebody sneezes on you, they're sneezing out significantly amount more of the virus. So your chances of catching it are significantly more. And we already talked about if it goes inside up the nostrils, it clamps down on the cells in the lung and it spins out more virus, significantly more virus than before. And
Does it,
so
quick question, does it require, since this is a twice stronger than the original COVID-19 that we experienced for the past few months, a year or so, is it necessary to change the formula of the vaccine in order to match this strength of this new virus?
very good, very good question. Um, uh, there was a study. There was another study done where they looked at initially. They looked at if if you took the antibodies that were made from our vaccine that we've been, people have been fully vaccinated. Originally, well, still, it showed that there was an 88% significantly, how can I say this? It stopped the virus. Its ability to stop this Delta variant was 88%, which is good. I mean, it's 88% of the time it will stop the variant, this Delta variant, from a person getting symptoms and getting, really sick like people were. And the other part of the study showed that in 98% of the time, it stopped people from going to the hospital and people dying. So the vaccine, when they took the vaccine and the antibodies that the vaccine makes and mixed it with the Delta variant, it showed that the vaccine actually did a pretty good job with this Delta variant. But of course, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't 100%. It wasn't guaranteed 100% to stop the virus. Now, this is the part. This is a part that we want to really pay close attention to, because people can get people that have been fully vaccinated, and I'm sure that people have heard this. People that have been fully vaccinated have contracted the Delta variant. They've and they call that a breakthrough infection, where a person who's been fully vaccinated, both has had both shots, and they still get COVID-19. And so the 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 good news about that is that their symptoms and their severity of illness is significantly decreased. So for those patients or those people who have been fully vaccinated but got the virus, got this Delta variant, their symptoms are really significant. They're not going to the hospital, they're not being put on a ventilator, they're not dying. So the vaccine, even though you have the breakthrough cases, and out of all the people that have been fully vaccinated now, because I think what has happened is people have heard so many different stories about it in the news, from friends, and you know how things get one person says one thing, and by the time it gets to the 10th person, it's a totally different thing. But in the reality of it is, only 0.001% of the people have contracted this or had these breakthrough infections. 0.001. There's been millions of people that have been fully vaccinated. So 0.001 of the people that have been fully vaccinated have been infected. And so that's a small number. And remember, when Pfizer and Moderna, both messenger RNA vaccines, when they came out with their information, they didn't say it was 100%. They said it was 88, 90%. And so the vaccines do work. We know they work. People don't, even for those breakthrough cases, people don't get as sick as they would if they weren't vaccinated. The people that are getting infected with this Delta variant that are unvaccinated are ending up in the hospital, and a lot of people have died that were unvaccinated. So we really need, and here, and so I've explained the Delta variant. I've talked about the mutations and how it's different and all those things. Here's the take home message. If about a little bit over half of the United States is fully vaccinated, so we got a lot of people out there that are not vaccinated. If we keep going down the path that we're going, okay, we're going to have another variant. Because if you look back over since January, they started talking about variants. The one in Brazil, the one in UK, the one in Africa, the one in, there were all these different variants. And then all of a sudden you heard about Delta, which was significant. If we don't get people vaccinated, we're only leaving the door open for the virus to go into a human and change into another variant. And so for people that are listening that don't believe in getting vaccinated, not only are you putting yourself in harm's way, but you're putting the world in harm's way as well. The world in harm's way. Because if the virus goes inside your body and does a switcheroo, a 360-degree change, where the vaccines are not helpful at all, we're all going down that road again. And so, when you talk, this is a message that I'm putting out there for everyone. We all need to share with people how important it is to get vaccinated. I mean, there and it's unfortunate that we have there's poor countries in our world, and you know, if those people aren't provided the vaccines, and the virus makes its way to one of those countries and gets into one of the human beings and changes, you'll see the same thing you saw with this that happened in India. It was in India in December, and now it's all over the world in June. It took 6 months for this virus to get all the way out, and so I think that my message, my story's not changing. Get vaccinated. We need to really get vaccinated.
Well,
And
Dr. White, it is truly interesting times in our lives. As always, we definitely do appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
and it's very good always to share information with you.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Mhm.